So, yeah, it's day 19, I believe, and back sat at this camera again, 19 days in a row. So we're going strong. Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna go straight. The last few days, I mean, I haven't worked as hard as I have in the last few days ever in my life. Sorry about this. This, by the way, I was drinking this water and all the condensation fell off and went on my front. So excuse that. Anyway, yeah, I haven't worked as hard as I have in the last week ever. I don't think it's just been scouring the internet for email addresses and links. Man, it's boring as fuck, but it's the most valuable thing I can do right now. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do the same tomorrow, and then the day after that, my mum comes. So I think I'm just gonna go. I'm going ham. That's kind of my thinking. I'm just gonna go ham until my mum comes, and then when my mum comes, I'm just gonna chill until I'm back in a position where I can sit here and talk properly and work properly. Now, I won't be in a foreign country when I do that, and I'm sat here talking properly to a camera again. I'll be back at home in the UK. So yeah, but there's a week period from 3rd until the night of the 11th. Yeah, I'll be back the night of the 11th, where maybe the 12th actually, it depends what time I go home, where my videos are going to be somewhat vague, but I feel like they might be quite insightful as well, because they're just going to be short and sweet and concise. So yeah, that's basically that. But yeah, my day has consisted of just getting leads, and I don't know what's happened, but it sounds weird, man, but something's changed inside of me. Like, genuinely. I've said this to my colleague, like, there was never a time where I could work as hard as I am right now, ever. And now my mind's a lot more clear, and I'm like, right, this is what I need to do, and like, this is where I want to get to, and this is what I need to do to get there. And it's kind of just relieved my mind. It's like, I'm usually, because I read books, I watch YouTube, I watch TikTok, and it's all productive content. I don't really watch degenerate content. I just watch productive stuff, but a lot of it's mental masturbation of just watching self-help shit or reading self-help shit. So you're taking a lot of information, and because you're taking in so much information constantly, especially on social media, it's just constant text on Twitter or random TikToks, that you can't actually think with clarity and think directly of what it is you need to be doing. And you get so caught up at that because there's so many things you're thinking about and taking in that you forget what the actual real meaningful tasks and things are that you need to be doing. So because I've been working quite a bit, it's been a lot more clear about what I want to do and what needs to be done. And it also has allowed me to see and understand why I'm doing what I'm doing every single day, and what the reason is behind why I sit here at this uncomfy ass fucking chair and work every day. So yeah, today I went and sat in a bloody bubble tea shop. Yeah, so I'm a one-man guy, about 20 years old, and when I say it sounds weird, man. I went into a bubble tea shop. I got some bubble tea. It was actually quite nice. I just feel like it's not really a kind of thing. Fucking man. Anyway, I went in there. It was nice. It was actually really nice. And I sat on the most uncomfy stool ever with the nicest view ever. So it made up for it. Actually, I'll put it up. I'll put it up to the camera. So the stool, I was sat on it for like 4 hours getting leads. Mate, did I want to get up and quit? And I was like, no, fuck it. I'm going to finish this task. And I was like dying. And on my back, I'm actually feeling the effects of it. Like, my back is fucked. It's like achy as fuck, but I mean, it's worth it, man. I finished what I had to do, but yeah, I'll get you up the place that I was sat, but it was nice, man. I had a view of the train station in Porto. It was nice. I was like quite high up, so you could see I could see quite a bit of stuff. Let me just, so yeah, this is where I was sat. Hold on, I think you can see that. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see it, but that's where I was sat. I don't know how well you can see that, but it was decent. So I was sat there, most uncomfy stool. It didn't even have a pillow on it, right? It was just a straight stool, and I was sat on it for 4 hours. So it got a bit uncomfy for a while, but it did what had to be done, and it was quite a nice view, so I committed to the seat. There was a table to my left, but I committed to the seat. So, yeah. Again, my old self, I think I would have just quit and just like started procrastinating or doing some random stuff that wasn't productive, or just trying to escape the boredom and stress that was sat in the most uncomfy chair of all time, doing the most menial, boring task of all time, which is getting leads. So, yeah, I did that, man. It was okay, and yeah, that was basically what my day consisted of, and it's going to be the same tomorrow, I believe. So we'll go again tomorrow, and I'm just getting as many leads as I can before I go away, so then they can all be outreached to whilst I'm away, and then we can have someone replying to the emails on my behalf while I'm gone. So that's what's going to happen. I did, when I was eating my dinner, I got some chicken from my shop, just straight chicken. And when I was eating it, I watched some videos, and there was this Andrew Huberman video that came on, and it was a up next video. So it was at the end of the video I was watching already. But the amount of insight I got on it was incredible. Like, it made me understand what I was kind of going on about with the stress and boredom thing, and how you use your cope mechanisms to get over stress and boredom. So when you're doing a menial task like getting leads, and your phone's sat to the right of you, your instinctive thing when you're bored or stressed and like, oh, I can't be asked doing this shit, is pick up your phone and get a little bit of dopamine from your phone. But the way he kind of explained it was really insightful. So basically, when you're doing a task, say let's just say you're doing leads and you want to get 100 leads, right? Fuck it. Let's just say you want to get 100 leads. Let's just say you want to get 100 leads, right? You have, what the fuck is going on out my door? Anyway, so you want to get 100 leads, right? You have to get from 0 to 100, and along that timeline, you're going to get to 10, 20, 30, etc., until you get to 100. Now, to do a task like that, or even to write, let's say, a 1-page, 2-page, 3-page, 500 word, let's just say a 5-page essay, right? You don't just click and you're instantly in flow state working on that task. There's a barrier of resistance you have to get into to get to that focus stage. It's almost like, what's a good example? Say I wanted to, right, okay. So say the top of those stairs is my flow state. That's where I'm like peak productivity. I'm sat there, I'm like not thinking about anything else. I'm literally just thinking about, right, this, what I'm typing, this is what I'm typing, this is what I'm typing. That's flow state. That's where you're just working and time just flies by. You know, they say time flies by when you're having fun. That's when you're focused on one thing. It's kind of that same principle. So to get to that, you have to go up all of these stairs, which again, it's not actually that big a task, but you don't just click and go from 0% to 100% focus. It goes up slowly, which is called I've got it written down here. I just don't want to butcher the pronunciation. It's basically spelled norepinephrine. There was a specific norepinephrine, something like that. Whatever, it's here. And that's basically a threshold to which you have to get to be able to focus on a task. But yeah, and when you do that, when you get past that stage, you're fully focused on the task. Now, the more you do that task, the more that norepinephrine kind of like catches up, almost. Because yes, you feel happiness around doing the task, and you feel a bit of dopamine around doing the task, because it's like, oh, I'm actually quite fulfilled, I'm getting this done. But as you do it, yes, it feels good, but slowly this thing creeps up on you. And at some point, it's going to hit you because you're not receiving that much dopamine from your task, and it just kind of like catches up, to which you're then at even and this is the point to which you quit. This is when people quit because it gets too stressful or boring that they just click off, right? So many weird noises coming from out there. So you just click off. Think of it as, there's another way of explaining it, right? You have a deer. That's how he explained it in the video. I'll link the video in the description. You have a deer, and the deer wakes up and it knows it's thirsty. It doesn't know what it needs, but it just kind of knows. It doesn't know specifically it needs water. It just kind of feels that it's thirsty, and the thing that it can smell is the thing that it needs to get to, which is water. Now it goes and walks to. It smells the water and gets closer and closer to the water, which is another thing called. So it gets the water. It drinks the water, and your body releases a bit of acidocaline. I'll just say it that, and it releases that, and then because you've got that dopamine getting to the initial one, you then want to get to stage 2. You've got to that little stream, and then you get to stage 2. You're like, and your body releases that anecdoline, which is that extra bit of motivation to keep going. And because you've got to that small bit of water, and you've got that dopamine release, this anecdoline releases, and it then kind of like draws you to a bigger pool of water, which would be a lake or a river, rather than just a little stream. So it's the same principle as when players are playing in the Super Bowl or a final. They get to the end of the match and they're absolutely like shattered. They're tired. They're completely worn out, tired. They put 100% into that match. They've done everything they can to try and win that match, right? But when they get to the end of the match, their energy levels almost rise if you win, because you've won and you've got that hit of dopamine to which, oh my God, I've won, and you kind of forget about the fatigue, and your mental, your brain gives you that extra bit of energy at the fact that you've won because of that dopamine release. Holy shit, I've won the Super Bowl. Holy shit, I've won the FIFA World Cup. Everyone's dancing around and stuff. Yes, they've gone like 100% in the match. They should be down and out like the other team are. The other team are down and out. They couldn't run half the pitch if they wanted. Like they're fucked because they've lost it and they don't have the mental capacity to go and do some more stuff. Now I feel like I'm kind of not explaining this as best as I could because again I'm not that knowledgeable on it. I'm just trying to quote Andrew Huberman to some extent. But when you finish that little task, even if it's a small one, and you get to say you want to get to 100 leads and you finish lead number 50, you get that small bit of dopamine, right? Oh shit, I'm halfway there now. I can keep going. So it kind of rises up again, and then the norepinephrine, however you pronounce it, then is further away, and it keeps trying to catch up, but your dopamine keeps releasing, so it keeps going like this. Now, when you get to that point of evenness, or the norepinephrine overtakes your dopamine release, then it gets very hard, and that is where your body kind of quits. So if you want to keep going at a task, you want to kind of be releasing dopamine somewhat whilst you're doing it. And if you can teach yourself that I'm doing well, I'm doing the best I can, I'm working hard, I'm doing this, and you can teach yourself, okay, at this milestone I'm working hard, I understand that I'm working hard. Your dopamine is going to internally release because you're thinking that, and then the norepinephrine isn't going to catch up as easy, so you can give yourself that extra bit of boost, that extra gas to then get to the next level and do a bit more of that work before your body just inevitably tells you to quit at some point. Now it's easy to say, yeah, but fuck it, I can keep going. Yes, but it's not that, I don't think it's that easy. Yes, there's going to be people who are mega disciplined, but it gets to a point that if you, again, I'm not trying to be an absolute philosopher here, but yeah, I think it's good to recharge. If you're just working and then you have a break and then you're working again. And I think I read something by, I think it is Dr. James R. or something on Twitter, and he said the best way to recharge is a nap. And I know that might sound obvious, but if you were to do 4 hours of deep work and then you have a nap, completely recharge, you wake up again, you might be able to fit in another 4 hours of work. Give you that extra boost to get you that extra 4 hours of work. So you kind of start at base zero at that point. So if you want to do stuff, it's fairly unfeasible to be doing 16-hour work days every day. And I know certain people say that it's possible. And again, some people different to other people. I mean, some people might be able to do it, some people might not. Some people might also use what I've just said as cope. That's fine. But I think it's just do it until you just allow yourself to achieve a bit of dopamine from it if you can. And that's why getting rid of your phone and social media is so important. And then when you're doing something, just focus in on that one task. And again, allow yourself to get dopamine from it. And when it comes to the time to quit, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just kind of take it as, okay, I've just done a shit ton of work, cool. Now I'm gonna have a little break and I'm gonna do the same again. Don't feel like you need to be working every single minute of the day, because it's not really productive. You could probably get a lot more done in let's say 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours of deep work than you can in 12 hours of shallow work and just like kind of working on tasks. Oh, I've got Disney Plus playing on my other monitor. I'm doing this. I'm gonna watch a YouTube video. If you just hone in on like 3-4 hours of work, you can get so much more done than like even the average 9 to 5. If you're working at an office job, I feel like if you're actually honed in for those 8-hour days, then you're going to get so much more done in like 3-4 hours than you would in the 8-hour period. Because in the 8-hour period, yes, you might want a promotion, but it's not going to be a big promotion. It's going to be like 4%. So you need to be inclined to do the work. You need to have a reason to do extra work. And if you know you're going to get the wage, regardless of whether you put this much effort in or this much, and there's a bare minimum that you're still going to get paid and not lose your job over, everyone's going to be doing that bare minimum. Everyone, every single person, unless someone's incredibly motivated to get promoted, or they want to do some stuff, or they've just got some passion for the work they're doing, which most people won't. They just do the bare minimum to get them over the line, to get to the end of the day, and then to the end of the week, and then to the end of the year, and then to keep going in that endless cycle. So, of course, if you're working a 9 to 5 job, you're not going to be like, right, I'm just going to work for 4 hours, get all of this done, and then I'm done. Because it doesn't work like that. You can get those same 4 hours work done in 8 hours, because there's no one telling you, like, even if you were to finish them in those 4 hours, cool, now you've got to do another 4 hours of work. So I think, see, I don't know, I'm only 20, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to run a company, but I feel like a lot of people are just lazy, especially in the Western world, in the UK and in the US. People, it's just the way that the work's set out for them. Yes, they could get a promotion, they do an extra bit, but if it's going up by 4% a year, they're at 50K, and then it's just going to slowly go up like 52K, cool, 54K, 56K, and that's after 3 years. They get an extra 6K a year, which is an extra £500 a month. That's after 3 years. And then after like 15 years of spending your life in that one job, you're then going to be sat there with, an extra 15 grand every year, 20 grand every year? Cool, it's 20 grand every year, but after taxes, it's not a load. So I'm going off a completely different tangent here, but it just makes me realize, man, if I'm doing a job for the rest of my life, because of this mindset I have, if I'm doing a job, I'm using it as leverage. I'm using the money that I have as leverage. I'm not going to use it to just do the bare minimum to the end of the day, finish the day, then go the next day, do the bare minimum again, sit, watch Netflix, go on a 2-week holiday every year, do the bare minimum again with zero inclination into working more than I already am, because no minimal jobs kind of set out an area of incentive to do more. I don't think any jobs really do that. Most jobs are just on an average, on a wage, just a daily wage, and it's not clear what incentive that workers could have, right? So I think the best way to use incentive is to create a bit of competition in the workplace. If you've got like a group of, let's say 10 employees, if you add a bit of competition in there, for whatever price, people are going to be inclined to do more because there's something they get from it. Whereas most jobs, they're just sat in like dead end, and then they work for 8 hours a day on whatever wage it is, and that's that. It doesn't matter how much work you do as long as you do the bare minimum, and that's why everyone does the bare minimum. So I've gone on a whole different rant, but man, it's true. I just think if I'm running a company and I've got employees, I'm creating an incentive straight away for them. You can't just expect them to do amazing work they might do amazing work for the first few weeks, first few months, and then after that, it's just going to drop off and it's going to be like everyone else most of the time. So if I'm employing people, I'm giving them a good incentive to work harder, because as long as I'm making profit from it, even if I'm giving away £1,000, but I know that the extra work they're going to be doing, say I'm setting up a job for, I don't know, let's say sales, because it's easy. Someone gets on calls and they're trying to sell my product. Cool. Now, the best salesman, this is a shit example, because the salesman should probably be getting commissions or something similar like that. But if I'm setting up a competition, the person who closes the most clients gets £1,000 at the end of the month. I know that I'm going to make money on that £1,000. Even though I'm throwing down an extra £1,000, the amount of incentive I've just given these workers is going to make me more than £1,000 back. So it's an easy example, and you wouldn't use that one for sales specifically, because sales is a much higher paid than just £1,000 after, let's say, a 3-month period, or a month period. But you need to give an incentive to work, man. You need to give an incentive for people to do more than the bare minimum. And also, I feel like a lot of people run businesses and they don't appreciate the workers enough. They're just kind of like, they don't care. You have an editor, and I've seen this happen so many times in the kind of area I'm working in. You'll have employees or an editor editing a video, and when they send you the video, you just kind of like, oh, cheers, thank you, that's cool, that's really good, thank you, and then that's that, right? Yeah, that's really good, cool. They're going to feel really good about that, huh? So, especially in a world where a lot of people overthink a lot of stuff and kind of double think what they're doing, and is it actually good enough? Am I going to get fired? If you can give them that reassurance that they're doing an amazing job, they're going to keep doing that amazing job. Whereas if you're just like, yeah, cool, or they send you some amazing work they've done, or they're working really hard, they're getting hundreds of leads a day, and then you just say, yeah, cheers. Their work ethic is dropping off a cliff, you know? Whereas if you're really impressed with them, and you say, oh, it's just positive reinforcement, right? Man, I sound like a dad. If you've got kids, I mean, I could talk about this all day. This is my favorite topic. You've got kids. If your kids are doing a good job, let's say football, they get back from football. Oh, Jimmy. Well, I don't know why I chose Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, you played so well. I loved how you did this. I loved how you did this. Oh, you worked really hard on the pitch. They're going to go back the next day, the next time you're watching, and do an amazing fucking job again. Every single time, because you're giving that positive reinforcement. Whereas if you're like, oh, Jimmy, yeah, that was really good. Yeah, you can go on your Xbox now if you want. They're just going to go to football again. It's like, yeah, who gives a fuck, you know? So if you want 110, 120, 130%, you need to give them the extra, like, the inclination to do these things as best they can. So, I mean, I'm just talking as like a boss perspective, because there's a lot of times where I've done a lot of work and the person that I've done it for has just been like, yeah, cool. Thanks, that's really good. They might not even say anything. Oh, right, all this fucking paragraph, and I know it might be annoying, me writing this fucking 12,000 page paragraph about what I've done. Yes, cool, they might just be like, fucking hell, this guy's waffling. But it obviously means something to them, and they're proud of what they've done. So you reinforce them, because they've clearly done a good job, regardless of whether you read the messages or not. They've clearly done a good job. So you positively reinforce that job, and they're going to go and do it again, and again, and again, and again. And yeah, it might drop off, so you've got to kind of like reward it differently as it goes on. You can't just keep saying the same thing every time, because you'll be like, oh, it's just repetitive now, I don't give a fuck anymore. So you've got to change it up. But yeah, man, I feel like positive reinforcement isn't used enough in this world, like, at all. It's just like, people just kind of take a lot of stuff for granted. I had a guy editing my videos. I mean, the guy editing the videos that I'm uploading in the next few weeks, when I've put the fucking thumbnails are made, and they're edited fully. I've got a guy editing them, and I saw this in practice when he edited it for me, and I was just so thankful for him, because he did it so quickly. He did the best job he could. He did a sick job, hence why he's my editor. And I sent him a voice note. I was just saying thank you, like, mate, this is sick, and you've done it so quick. And he was like, oh my God, and he's like, yeah, you're my favorite client. I'm like, thank you, man. because he enjoys it. Then he prioritizes my work over everyone else as soon as I give it to him. He appreciates working with me. He does everything with care. He doesn't rush anything. And it's like people just take advantage of so many things. And if you could just show a bit of gratefulness for something, that people will respond back at you like so well, man. I just think so many people just disregard that, and they're like, yeah, people are just going to do the job regardless. But if you want a really good fucking job doing, you need to give them inclination to do it. Like there needs to be a reason why they're doing it, and it's not even hard to do it, man. It's just a little bit of wording, or just be sincere with your words, or just do something like that, or give them a benefit at the end of it, or just something like that. Just positive reinforcement, man. It's so important, and it's so overlooked nowadays. I don't think anyone really. A lot of people obviously do it, but a lot of people don't, and it's a problem. So if you want to get the best job you can, and make the most of any opportunity you're in, just positive reinforce, and that goes with having children, that goes with employees, that goes with anyone working for you, just anything like that. Even friends. Even if a friend does something nice to you, you say thank you. You do something back to them. You know, they do. I don't know. They go out of their way for you. You buy them a pack of beers, or you say thank you. Like it's giving back, man. It's rather than just taking. And my dad taught me this my whole childhood, because he's really good at giving back, and he's really good at saying thank you. So I think I've kind of got this from him, because I mean the amount of times that I've got annoyed that he's kind of. Because I'd be in the car with him, and he'd be like, oh, I'm just dropping this off to say thank you. I'm just doing this. I'm like, fuck, I've got to sit in the car another 20 minutes so I can get home. But in hindsight, it taught me a lesson that you get so far from saying thank you. And if you know my dad, you'll know a lot of people like my dad. And I think there's a reason why that is. It's because he's just thankful, and he gives back rather than just taking. Because a lot of people just take, and they take a lot of things for granted. So, man, there you go. Turn that into a podcast episode, man. I feel like that was pretty insightful, actually. But again, I'm only 20 years old, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, how long have I been talking for? How long have I been talking for now? 27 minutes of pure talking. Nice. One more thing I was going to say. I'm going to do a dopamine detox. Now, I'm not going to go from 0 to 100, because I know for a fact it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. But what I am going to do is start small and work my way up, because I'm sick and tired of fucking being addicted to my phone. Because no matter what I say on these videos, I still have the same problem. So I'm gonna limit my phone screen time to 1 hour 30 a day, first of all. But I'm also going to do just a complete detox when I go away after my mum's here. Maybe even while my mum's here. I'll just do it. I'm just going to do it because I need to get rid of the fucking addiction, man. I need to lower my dopamine levels because they're fucking me over. And although I haven't been on social media nearly as much as I usually have the last few days, I just still know it's fucking me up. And I know that I'd much rather be doing other things, but yeah, I still find myself on my phone all the time. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll report back. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. I might just do it tomorrow. Now, I'm not gonna do it tomorrow because I'm working tomorrow. That's actually the most backwards thing I've ever said. Yeah, I might just do it tomorrow. Yeah. There's one more thing I wanted to say. Okay. Going back to positive reinforcement, there's one more thing I want to go over. There was a study a while back. I've read this. I read this so long ago. There was a study a while back, and I'm just going to use. I think football, soccer is the best example. I can't remember what the example was, but there was a group of players that played soccer, right? And then they finished the match, and they went home, and there was two groups of statements said to them. There was either, you played really well, you did really good, you played amazing, or there is, you worked really hard, you didn't give up, you did an amazing, you did the best job you could, you were running so much, whatever. But there are obviously two different things. There's positive reinforcement saying you did a really good job, which again is not bad, it's not bad, but there's also you worked really hard. Now, the difference in work the next time around, they went and played a match, was, it was incredible, right? There was the good group and the hard-working group. The good group kind of just took it for almost took it for granted and said, "Oh, I'm a really good player. I don't really need to try anymore. I'm really good anyway. I wasn't trying that time, so I'm not going to try again. So I'm just really good, so I don't need to try." So these guys just kind of fell off a cliff. Whereas the guys that said they did a hard work went back again and put probably 150% more effort into playing football or whatever it may be. I don't think the example was football, but you get the idea. So they went back and they just worked even harder. They were like running up and down the pitch, absolutely taking their energy tank down to zero, running up, down the pitch or whatever, running, making all these runs, playing as best they could. Whereas the other guys were just playing football because they were just like, I'm good at football. I'm good at football. So they just didn't do anything different. So I'm not saying don't reinforce saying you did a good job. Obviously it works. But if you could reinforce saying that they worked really hard more, or knowing the power of saying you worked really hard, something along those lines, people are going to go and work even harder next time around. Whereas if you just say they did a good job, they're going to be thankful, don't get me wrong, and they'll appreciate it, but they're not going to work any harder. So that was another thing. And it kind of, disregards what I've said, because I've said positive reinforcement is good, and it is good, but there's a way of sincerity saying it, and it's a fusion of using different ways of doing it. So you worked really hard, or you did a really good job, but you've also got to be sincere, and you've also got to switch it up. You can't just keep saying the same thing every time, because they're just going to get bored of it, and it's going to be meaningless after a while. So yeah, and as I said, it works for everything. It works for employees, it works for children, if you've got children. It works for just anything that when someone's done something that kind of benefits you, or is good, or is someone that you care about and they've done a good job, anything like that. Reinforce it consciously, do it consciously, and you'll see a return on it, because a lot of people just take stuff for granted nowadays. And if you're not, think about yourself in the person's shoes. You've just sat there for 6-8 hours getting leads or sending emails or whatever it is, editing a video. And then you go and send it to let's just use editing a video. You spent 8 hours editing a YouTube video. You send it to the person that paid you to do the YouTube video. They just say, cheers, mate, or thanks. And then they just give you the money, and that's that. You're not going to, if they came to you again and paid you, you're still going to do the job, but you're not going to go above and beyond for them, you know? They're not going to work extra. They're just going to do the bare minimum. It works the same with every single thing. It's just human psychology. You just got to appreciate people, and they will give back to you every time, because it's just positive reinforcement. Anyway, I've got my point across. Don't think there's much more to say. I'm going to keep my phone screen time down to 1 hour 30 max a day, and not much more I need to say. It's just probably the earliest I've recorded this for a while. It's 11:07, which means that I started recording it around 10:30. So it's good to be back properly. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow night for my last proper talk until I'll go away for a week, and then I'll be back properly again. But I'm still going to do them while I'm away. I can't ruin the streak, but they won't be as long. They'll just be concise and quick and in different places. So yeah, thank you for watching, and please leave a comment if you have any questions you want to ask me or anything like that, or just any comment. I seriously appreciate them. They mean the world to me. I love reading them and responding to them. So yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, see you tomorrow night. Cheers.